This week's episode of I Was a Teenage Film Snob may contain traces of nuts, plums, and goose eggs.
Make me laugh, make me cry. Don't go in there, you're going to die. Grab a drink from the room, pass the popcorn and away we go. I was a teenage film snob, baby. I was a teenage film snob, baby.
Welcome to I Was a Teenage Film Snob. I'm James Chalmers, your friendly neighborhood film snob. It's back to another solo show with me. I'm recording from Film Snob HQ. I'm not on the treadmill at the moment because I'm still in recovery from my procedure, which is going to be what the focus of today's episode is. So a couple of weeks ago, I recorded an episode called The Anatomy Lesson Part 1, and I talked about me going in for a vasectomy. I talked about the reasons why I was doing it. I encouraged people to ask questions. And now that it's all done, I can tell you what the procedure was like, how it felt, what was involved, what the recovery has been like, and I guess clear the air there a little bit and also hopefully take away some of the stigma about it. So we'll talk about that. Of course, some other things happened since that as well. There was a new Avengers trailer which dropped, so I'll talk about that as well. So there will be some movie chat in this episode. And then next week, I imagine back to full-on movie talk. I haven't touched base with Nick and Maddie in a little while. As I've mentioned a few times, Maddie's had a few personal things going on. Nick's been kind of taking a bit of a break from social media and stuff, as have I. So we haven't kind of organised anything just yet. But there'll be movie talk of some sort next week. But let's dive into it. So yeah, last Friday, the 14th of August, I was booked in for my vasectomy. And the whole time I wasn't nervous. I wasn't nervous at all. I don't know why. Because it's a pretty, even though it's not like a major surgery or anything like that, like there's knives and injections involved, and I'm not a big fan of pain, as few people are. But I don't know, I just had this kind of like sense of calm the entire time. The only time I was a little bit nervous was when I sat down in the waiting room, and when I sat down in the chair to talk to the doctor for the first time, just because it was real. You know, it was real. My mum drove me, which is very funny. Although when I spoke to the doctor and the nurse, they said that it's very common for mums to drive people, like their sons in for vasectomies because they're the ones who aren't working. So my mum dropped me in. And when I went into the room, I spoke with Dr. Marcel. And I'll tag their Instagram page. I'm going to do a post about this as well on Instagram, and I'll tag them. So if you're interested, you can reach out to them and stuff like that as well. But I met Dr. Marcel. He was very lovely, very friendly. There wasn't too much chatter up front. You know, in the last episode, I talked about how there hadn't been too much kind of required for me to get approval. In fact, all I had to do was fill out a form online and I was good to go. There was no conversation around like, why are you doing this? Are you feeling comfortable moving forward? Like, is this the right time? Like, none of that. He was just like, this is what we're going to do. And then I got on the table. There's like a little, it's almost like a dentist chair. It's like a massage chair where you lie down and they raise you up. They had a movie on, but I chose to talk instead because when I get nervous, I like to chat. And there were 2 moments of pain in the entire procedure and recovery, and I would say they're nothing compared to what women have to go through in regards to childbirth. There are definitely worse pains in life. It was uncomfortable, but I could definitely handle it. So when I lay down, I had to pull my pants down. I had to buy undies. And when I say undies, I don't mean underpants. I wear underpants every day, of course, but I had to wear like Y-fronts, like jocks, because they have more support than trunks. So I had to like buy those, and I hadn't bought a pair of those in over a decade. And because I've lost a lot of weight, I had to get the small ones, and they were riding up my butt and all sorts of stuff. But that was fine. So I got on there, and the first thing they did was put an injection into, and we're going to get graphic here. So spoiler alert now, like trigger warning, all that. We're going to talk about things in a very scientific way. They put an injection into my left testicle, which I foolishly wasn't expecting. I knew I was going to get an injection in the skin. I was like, oh yeah, I've had an injection in my scrotum before. That's fine. But I completely forgot that they would have to inject everything because that's where the cutting was going to happen. And I've never felt a pain like that before. I kept visualizing, I was telling my wife, a cocktail stick going into an olive. It wasn't a sharp pain. It was a very deep, bruisey pain, and I felt it like all the way through my abdomen because I guess everything's connected. That sucked. I'm not going to lie. That one sucked. It wasn't the worst pain in the world, but it was definitely not pleasant. And then after a few seconds, he just started operating. So he did them one at a time. I guess the anesthetic doesn't last that long. So he made an incision and cut my vas deferens, as they say, and cauterized it and all that sort of stuff. And then he put an injection in my right testicle, and that's the one that really hurt. I guess the right one is connected to more things. That shot all the way up into like my guts, and I was just like, really uncomfortable. But it was fine. You know, it wasn't the worst pain in the world. It was just not pleasant. And yeah, that was it. I didn't feel anything except for those 2 injections, and it was less than 20 minutes, and I was up on my feet and getting ready to leave. So it's a very quick procedure, very minimal pain. The injections are the worst part, but they're not even that bad because they're not sharp pains, not stings. It's more the bruising, deep feeling you're not expecting, and that's honestly the worst part of it. So after that, I had a bit of a chat with him. He kind of like I had like a list of aftercare things to worry about. So no exercise for a week. So I'm allowed to walk around the house, but I wasn't allowed to go for a walk. And so I stuck to that pretty strictly. I had to ice myself on and off every hour. So 20 minutes, take an hour away, another 20 minutes, take an hour away. So they give you an ice pack and like a little pouch in case it's too cold. So I used that for the first 2 days. From day 3 onwards, you don't need to do it anymore. No swimming, no baths. I'm allowed to have a shower. I was allowed to have a shower, I think, from day 3, but I just waited until the bandages could come off. So you get 2 little Band-Aids on each incision, and then there's like a plastic wrap to kind of keep everything on. So yesterday, at the time of recording, today's Thursday, so at the time of recording, it was yesterday, I finally took it off and I had a shower. But it's going to be a gentle shower. You can't scrub or anything because it's obviously still quite sensitive. So there's still some residue from the Band-Aids and stuff like that, which I'll be able to get off in a few days' time once everything's healed a bit more. But yeah, in terms of discomfort, the first day was the worst. When the anesthetic started to wear off, we went past the shops on the way home because I wanted to get a few snacks and stuff like that because I knew I was going to be lying down for the rest of the day. And I think about halfway through our shopping trip, which was only about 5 minutes, the anesthetic started to wear off, and I could feel this like bruising, like agony in my abdomen. So not actually in my testicles or anywhere where the surgery was done, but higher up. And what it really felt like was I really needed to go to the bathroom. It was a really like deep, bruisey pain, and just felt like I needed to go to the bathroom really badly. But that was probably the most uncomfortable part of all of it. Like of the surgery, the injections were the worst part, but of the entire experience, that pain on the way home as the anesthetic came off, that was the hardest part. But then I came home, I had some lunch, I had some Nurofen, and then I didn't really feel any pain again. There was no pain. I'm a week out at this point, so it's been, I guess this is day 6, if you're not including the day I got it done. Tomorrow will be Friday, which will be a whole week since doing it. And I haven't felt any pain. I've been uncomfortable, but what I've really felt more than anything is tired. I've been physically exhausted, and I guess that's because your body is redirecting all the energy to healing. So, it kind of saps your energy there, and that means you don't have energy to do other things. So, whilst I haven't been in pain or even that uncomfortable, what I've really had to do is like just take it easy because I'm so tired. I can't stand up for long periods of time. I'm getting better now. Like now that I'm almost a week out, I can do it more. I've also found myself being hungrier than usual. I think that's because my body is using up so much energy to heal that I need more calories. And it's been tough because I'm trying to lose weight and I haven't been exercising, but I haven't like put too much pressure on myself this week to worry about the calories and stuff like that. I've just been eating as needed and just walking around the house. Like I've still done about 5,000 steps per day over the last couple of days, not deliberately, just from taking Zoe to school or picking her up, that sort of thing. But even still, it's been fine. Yeah. So now I just have to wait for the procedure to take. So without getting too graphic, it takes about 3 months for everything left in there to kind of clear out. So I really don't want to get too graphic about it, but you can imagine how that would be done. So 3 months and it should be all good. And then I do a test and they find out if there's anything left in there. And if there is, then I don't know the steps after that. They haven't told me, but that's a very, very rare case. It usually all works out totally fine. So in about 3 months' time, I'll be infertile, I guess. I don't know what the word is. It's a good thing because I don't want to be fertile anymore. I'm done with that part of my life. But yeah, I wish I had more questions. No one really asked any questions about it, so that's about it. But the process was really straightforward. There's no horror stories. Like, I didn't have any bleeding, or even the swelling wasn't that bad. Like, they said bruising and swelling is pretty common, but I didn't have, like, day one, everything was quite swollen, but from day two onwards, it was fine. I think if you just follow the instructions the doctor gives you, you'll be totally fine. So yeah, 100% would recommend. It's so easy and not painful, a little bit uncomfortable, but you get to rest. Like, I was loving it. I got to lie down in bed for 4 days. Like, I can't tell you the last time I did that. Like, I was telling people, like, I think I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be like a vacation for me. Like, I don't take a lot of time off for myself. It's normally to do other things. So by taking time off to get this procedure done, it forced me to stop and relax, and I got to watch a bunch of Tintin and watch a bunch of American Dad and play some Pokemon, and it was a grand old time. It was funny when I came back to work. There'd been a bit of miscommunication, and my boss called me and he said, "Hey," he goes, "I heard you were in hospital over the weekend." And I said, "Oh, no." And he goes, "Yeah, you got surgery." And I was like, "Oh, yeah. You know about this, boss? I was getting my vasectomy." And he goes, "Oh." He goes, "Oh, yeah, I did know about that." But I guess when I put in my leave, someone got confused and said that I'd been hospitalized and was in surgery, and they were worried because I hadn't called anyone and told them, like, what was going on. And apparently, like, a lot of the managers were really worried about me, so that was kind of funny. But yeah, it's all good. It's great. I feel really comfortable. I'm no longer needing to wear supportive underwear anymore. The bandages are all off. Like, the wounds are healing nicely. They're just like tiny little scabs. So, like, I don't think I'm going to have any scars. And if I do, you wouldn't even be able to tell. They're just like very small lines. Like, they're less than a centimeter each cut. So yeah, it's so far I have no concerns. The thing I was worried about most was the recovery, because I've heard, although it's very rare, like, people can get long-term pain afterwards. Like, it's very, very low risk. Like, it's very rare these happen, but people have had long-term pain, have had things not heal properly, have had things heal too well where it basically didn't take. And at this stage, everything has gone really, really smoothly. So yeah, it's been good. And I will still field questions about it. I won't be talking about it that much moving forward now, voluntarily, but if people have questions, they can send them in, and I'll definitely talk about it and answer and take away any of the stigma and demystify that for you. But yeah, it's been good. I'm looking forward to being able to do a bit more exercise. So next week I'll be able to start doing more steps again. I should be able to do some light exercise, some push-ups and stuff like that. And then I've got to wait until September before I can get on my bike or go in the pool or go in the bath and stuff like that. You just got to wait a little bit longer because the water or the, obviously something like a bike where that's very groin oriented, it can cause infection. It can, cause damage and pain and stuff like that. So I just got to be patient there, but I'm in no rush. Like, I'm totally fine. I'm looking forward to being able to walk a bit more. I miss kind of going out for long walks. I really got into that groove over the last few months where I was, getting lots of steps in every day. And, I'm not going to start doing 20,000 steps a day next week. I'll probably just try and aim for the 10. And once I get further and further away from that, that surgery date, then I'll be able to do a little bit more. But yeah, it was a breeze. It was a cinch. And if I can do it, then anyone can do it. And I 100% recommend it for people who don't want kids or are done having kids. It's way easier than whatever your wife has to go through. So would recommend all the way. Shifting gears. Pardon me, I'm still getting over a cold. I do apologize. As I said at the start, they dropped a new trailer for Avengers. D23 happened over the weekend. The weekend I was recovering, and we weren't expecting much from Marvel. I think the big rumor was that the X-Men cast was going to be announced, which did happen. The biggest news probably being that Adam Driver is playing Mr. Sinister, and Indy Navarrete from Obsession is playing Rogue. Samara Weaving was cast as Emma Frost. That was a little while ago though, but they brought the full cast out on stage, which was kind of cool because they're going to work on that, and that's going to be released in 2028, I believe. But we weren't expecting much because San Diego Comic-Con had just happened. We'd had the Avengers trailer. What more could they do? And they dropped another trailer. And this one's very Doom-centric. So it's about 2 minutes long. I'll do what I did last time, and I'll kind of pause as we go. So if you want to watch along while I narrate it, absolutely go for it. I've got my subtitles on because I don't want the volume to kind of interfere with the recording. But if you open up, it's just actually not even called a trailer. It's called Avengers Doomsday Special Look. That's what they're referring to it as. But it's a Doom-centric trailer. So the opening shot of the trailer, I haven't hit play yet, is Dr. Doom sitting in his throne room. There's green magic all along on the floor. All the glass behind him is green stained glass, and there's light coming through, and it's just a gorgeous shot. And a lot of people have theorized that might be the final shot of the film, which makes sense. You know, it could very well be. I'm going to hit play, and we'll go through. So the first thing we hear as we hit play is some dialogue from Susan Storm, and she says, Victor was always the smartest guy in every room. The dialogue's taking a while. He used to be different. And now we get the Marvel Studios logo kind of green and silver for Dr. Doom. He used to be kind. He used to be caring. We see Sue and we see Magneto and Gambit and Cap. And then he lost everything. Everything he loved was taken away from him. So I'll just pause there. We got a close-up on Dr. Doom's face. We can see his armor, which looks so comic accurate. We can see Downey's eyes poking through, but you cannot see any of Robert Downey Jr. in there. It's just green eyes, which is great for Doom as well. I really like this trailer because it establishes an existing relationship between the Fantastic Four and Victor. Something that we were uncertain about going into this. Obviously, we hoped that they would do that, but because he was absent from first steps, other than his Latvian seat being empty at the Future Foundation, we didn't know. So the fact that Susan knows him as a friend really grounds that relationship. I'm really excited about that. And Susan is talking to the X-Men and the Avengers right now. She's kind of letting the same way in Infinity War, how kind of Hulk was explaining who Thanos is. Hulk and Thor were talking about who Thanos is. Same thing here. Like, we're getting someone kind of explaining to the audience, but also to the other characters, who this new impending Doom is. And so Doom's looking up at a portrait. It's a bit unclear. Some people have theorized it's his wife and his son. Others have theorized it could be a picture of himself with his mother. If you've read the comics, which I've read a lot of recently, his mother was a witch and was taken to hell and is like tortured by demons and stuff like that. So that's one version it could be. And then there are other versions where it could be like his family. Pardon me. So hitting play again, we now see Shang-Chi and some Wakandans and Thor, but I didn't realize that he was broken. And then we get another close-up of Doom in his armor, that really great battle armor, that awesome mask. And now, pausing here at 47 seconds, we can see a wrecked city. We don't know which city it is. It could be New York. We don't know whether it's our Earth, the MCU Earth. We don't know if it's the Fantastic Four's Earth. We don't know if it's the X-Men's Earth, but there's some sort of city here absolutely destroyed. I think it's a bit of a misdirect. Like, a lot of people have said, Doom's laid waste to the city, especially because Reed is about to do some narration. But I actually think it could be the X-Men's universe that's been kind of been battered after. There's a theory they've been battered after lots of incursions. But anyway, let's go. Then Reed says, Victor, did you do this? And they're face to face. We see Scott Lang kiss Cassie on the head. We see Johnny Storm embracing Franklin with a huge blinding light behind them. His suit's all scuffed up. He's been on fire. Clearly, he's got like some charred look on his face. All of you, pardon me, this is Doom speaking now, have lived stolen lives. And we see all of the different Avengers with their children. We saw Cap with his child. We saw Thor with Love. But now you must give them back. And we see, this is the money shot. Doom jumps out of a tower. He does an awesome superhero landing. Reed says, did you do this? And now we get the shot of Thor fighting Doom again. I swear you will beg for hell long before I grant it. And he leaps with Stormbreaker. He swings. Doom blocks it with 2 fingers. And he says one of the most badass lines in any comic book film ever. He throws Stormbreaker away. He shoots Thor with it. And he goes, hell answers to me. And then he hits his hand on the ground and rises all of the Sentinels, for I am Doom. and he throws the Sentinels towards presumably the Avengers and the X-Men, and then we get the title treatment. It's not a long trailer. It's very much about setting tone. It's very much about setting up Doctor Doom. But boy, is it cool. I could not be more excited for this film. I'm really, really psyched for Avengers Doomsday. It is the 20th of August right now, so we are less than 4 months out. We're 3 months and 27 days or something out from this movie, and I cannot wait. Avengers Doomsday is going to rock. I don't need any more trailers now. I'm sure they'll give us more, but I am ready to go in completely blind and just let it wash over me the way Infinity War did and Endgame did. I think any concerns about the film hopefully will be alleviated for a lot of people, because that first trailer was really cool. It said a lot about the kind of the different teams coming together, and then this one has let you know just who Doom is. We get another peek at Downey's voice, and it's very like European Germanic style voice, and it really works for Doom. I just can't wait. Before I dip out, the last thing I'll mention is Lanterns. The Green Lantern TV show just started this week as well. I was still resting up on the Monday, so I managed to watch that first episode, and I really dug it. I'm a huge Green Lantern fan. I've read a bunch of the comics, and some New 52 stuff, some Blackest Night. Hal Jordan is my Green Lantern, but I know a lot of people grew up with Jon Stewart and Kyle Rayner. I also really like Jessica Cruz. And of course, we had the debut of Green Lantern in Superman with Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner. So it's, they keep saying True Detective was the inspiration. It's very much that, but off the bat, it's nowhere near as kind of grounded as people were expecting. I think the trailers hit a lot because there's a lot of green ring action in the first episode straight away. We're jumping around from different time slots. We see a young Jon Stewart watching television as Hal Jordan is interviewed as the first ever superhero in the 90s. He became Green Lantern in 1986, and he revealed himself to the world in 1996. And I really like that the Green Lantern is the first hero, because Superman didn't make his debut until the 2020s. His film was in 2025, and we found out he introduced himself to the world 3 years before. So it's good that we had a human superhero first with Green Lantern. Kyle Chandler is great as Hal. Aaron Pierre is great as Jon Stewart. We also have the bulk of the story happening in 2016, where they start working together and Hal is training his replacement. And then the big spoiler, if you haven't seen it, haven't read it online, it was spoiled online. It was spoiled for me, but it didn't ruin the episode for me at all. We then, at the very tail end of the first episode, cut to 2026, the present day, and Jon Stewart has returned to Nebraska, where he was first teaming up with Hal, to investigate something mysterious, and they find Hal Jordan frozen, presumably dead, on a chair. So I don't think he's dead. Damon Lindelof, who created the show, mentioned the Spectre in an interview recently, and so obviously Hal Jordan could become the Spectre. He could also become Parallax. I think there's a lot going on that we're not aware of yet. But it's really cool. It's really, it's very earthbound at the moment, but there's plenty of Green Lantern action in there with the ring. And from the trailer, we've seen Sinestro, we've seen Hal in space. There's going to be space stuff. I think that Grant Dillahunt, the old kind of cowboy in the show, I think he's going to be Black Hand. I think he's going to be a Black Lantern. I believe we're going to get some Red Lantern action. I think I heard someone mention that Red Lanterns are going to show up. I think it's going to get crazy, and I think it's going to get very, very epic. But, one step at a time. But anyway, that's it. So I got snipped. It was great. Avengers Doomsday trailer dropped. It was great. Lanterns dropped. It was great. All things are great. We'll be back next week. Hopefully me talking to someone, but if not, far more movie content, I promise. Thank you for listening. That's it for this week, and I'll speak to you all soon.